Welcome back to Wargaming World, to Burma 1944, and to a new game of 1 Hour Wargames. Okay, let me talk you through what's going to happen in the game. We've got 3 Burmese prisoners of war in here, and the aim of the game is for the Japanese to hold on to them. So the Japanese force here, you'll see marked by the blue dice. We've got 6 units in total, which includes where we've got the 5. We've got a mortar team, and 6. We've got some dug-in snipers over here. So it's got 6 units for the Japanese. And so over here we also have a Chindit force, which is coming to the rescue. We've got again 6 units here, which includes a Vickers machine gun inside this particular building. 6 in total, and that's who will be looking to get across this area and to take the house and get the prisoners of war. But obviously we've also got the Japanese looking to do the absolute opposite and get rid of this force approaching here. Now we've also got something else. We've got a bridge across this river, and we've got a fairly large Japanese force and a smaller British force, which off board are fighting, and the British are holding them away from this bridge in order for the Chindits to do their heroics. However, we might see either of these forces appear. So you'll see that there are in total 14 cards here, and we turn each of them at the start of each turn. And I've turned the one on the right hand side for the first turn, and when I turn a joker, it means that one of these 2 forces will appear on this bridge, and we'll need to roll for which one. Finally, the whole game will end on at the end of the turn from the final card. So we've got 14 turns in total, and if the British haven't managed to get rid of the Japanese force and save their prisoners of war, it is a Japanese victory. There are no other conditions, and therefore that is the game. And so you will also may well have seen my various videos of solo play of 1 Hour Wargames, and you'll see each time for the turn we draw a new card, both for the Japanese and for the British, to see what happens, which interrupts perhaps or brings some benefits to either force on their turn. So I'll do that in each turn, and let's start the game. British to go first. Let's see what the first card is, and it's a 7. So a 7, ammunition shortage. And 1 to 3 of my British force can't shoot in this turn. So when I'm rolling green dice, it's going to be the British, blue for the Japanese, and that means it's going to be 1 unit that cannot fire. In fairness, I'm not firing at all in the unit, so it's not been too much of a disadvantage. British 5 units have moved. We've got 1 which is staying in this building, and that is the end therefore of the British phase in turn 1. Over to the Japanese. Okay, solo card for Japanese, that's an ace, and by that there's no event. Okay, so for the Japanese, the 4 units over here are going to advance towards this building. I'm leaving the mortar behind cover. The mortar can fire up to 48 inches, but the observation has to be within 12 from other units. So nothing's in range so far, and then the sort of snipers on the bank here are just going to obviously stay where they are and defend to hold this building. So I'm going to move the units. So this is where we get to at the end of turn 1. So you're going to be getting in line for shooting fairly quickly. That's the end of this turn. Let's have a look at the card and see whether we get any other troops coming over the bridge in turn 2. So what do we get? No, so that's a 7. So nothing's appearing over here. Let's go over to the British turn. British card, the start of the turn is a 5. Confusion, 1 to 3 of my units can't move. Not ideal. And it's 3 units. This unit isn't moving, so I'm going to say there's only 2 of the units out here who can actually move, so I'll just roll for that. Right, these 2 units have moved forward. These 3, one behind it, and these 2 haven't, and I'm not going to say that they can fire as an alternative, so I'm going to go straight over to the Japanese. Japanese turn, or 5 as well. How many units? It's going to be 2 aren't going to move. So these 2 units have moved, and that is the end of turn 2. Turn 3, and I can select any card. So it's not the Joker, so over to the British in turn 3. See a turn a card for them. A Jack. Right, so 11 means that a single unit of the British, I can either move twice, move and shoot, or shoot twice. So I'll say 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. 3, so that's this unit here. Okay, so I've moved this unit further forward towards this building, and then this unit at the back has moved up to support the Bren team. So this unit is the one that can fire twice, so it will do at the advancing Japanese there. So I've got 2 dice there, and I'm going to also fire the same with a 3rd unit at the same target, and then this unit behind here will fire at the machine gun team, which is just behind this building over here. So infantry versus infantry is no addition, so it's just effectively 3 dice. So the impact is going to be 9 against the machine gun team, just the 1. So Japanese card. 3. Okay, these 2 units have moved forward, so the Japanese machine gun team has gone into that building, so it's going to get some cover moving forward. As I say, that unit has advanced. Over here, this machine gun team is going to fire into this sort of jungle area. This unit is going to do 2 things. It's going to observe on behalf of the mortar team, which are behind these barrels, which can fire, and it will also fire itself. So it's going to fire at this unit, which has been firing at it, which doesn't have any cover. This unit is being fired on. It's going to be half effect, rounded up. Oh, half effect, so 3. So the mortar landing here is 1d6 plus 2. That's 5 plus the firing. Oh, that's 11. So at the end of that turn, this is where we finish. I'd have to say the Japanese are slightly a slightly better position here. Some heavy casualties the British took on that line a moment ago, so that is at the end of turn 3. Over to turn 4, and to turn a card. Turn 4, does the Joker appear? No, it doesn't. Right, so British card, it's a 5, so that's confusion, and there's a 1 D3 units can't operate. So how many? That's going to be just the 1. Which 1? Number 4. So this MG team here, so they're going to operate in this turn. Right, so I've moved this unit forward, and then I'm going to fire with both of these 2 units at the Japanese with 9. Remember, if it gets to 15, we remove the unit, and then back here we've got 1 unit, and I'm going to fire at that unit. Roll those 2d6, and that's 8, so that unit is removed. So that's this unit is lost. And over here, just 1 d6. What's the impact? 5. So it's the Japanese card this time. That's a 7. That's an ammunition shortage. 1 to 3 units may not shoot. What will that be? Just the 1. So the Japanese over by that bank are actually in range of this unit, so it could be that unit, the mortar team behind the barrels, or those three here. So I'll roll a dice and see which one. 4. So it's this MG team here. Right, so from that bank we've got firing the Japanese. 1d6 5. This unit isn't really within 12 inches of the units over there, so the one that is nearest to is that one. So I'm going to say we're spotted there, and we're going to fire the bring in the mortar there. So it's half effect, but this is 1d6 plus 2. So that's 3. We always round up, so 2 is the impact, and that unit up to 5. I'll fire at them again with this unit. So 1d6, and we half the impact. So, well, minimum is 1, so unit now up to 6. Finally firing over here, firing at this unit. 6 is the impact. Right, well, end of that turn, the British are taking some heavy casualties now along this line. We'll turn to see whether they have any support from. And see if the Joker will appear. Well, not with that one. And card for the British is a Queen. Right, so it's effectively 12, and so that's a rally. So 1 to 3 of my own units get 1 to 3 hits back. So how many units? 2. Right, so I've rolled, and it's going to be this unit, and it is going to be that unit, the one on 11. So 11 down to 10. Over here this is 6. Down to 5. Right, I've moved these 2 units further forward towards the objective, and then over here I've got 2 Bren teams. They're both going to fire at this unit out in the open, and then I've also got this unit here which will fire at that unit. 2 Bren teams, impact of that's only 3, that unit up to 4, and over here we've got it's actually 5, the units plus 2, so that'll be 7 for that unit. Japanese card is a 2, so that's no effect. Start here, 2 units firing at the British unit here. That's the impact. 6, that unit's now up to 11. That can call in mortar fire on that unit. Impact 1d6 plus 2, so that's 4. That unit goes up to 14, but I'm going to fire it as well with that unit, so this unit will go a minimum of 15, so that is removed. And so here we've got another set of firing, so 1d6 against this unit. The impact is 3, so the unit is up to 8. And it's very tricky, I think, for the British. It's going to be hard to dislodge the unit by that bank, although I am close to the objective, so let's see what happens in the next turn. Let's see if I draw a Joker. No. What about the card? It's a 4, so it's no effect. Right, so I've moved this unit towards the objective. I need some kind of break here, which means I'm going to fire both of the Bren teams again at this unit, and I need a high roll to see if I can get something to go for me. And then I've got the British unit here firing at this Japanese unit. 2d6. Oh, not a double 1, that's for sure. Right, so that means this unit is up to 6. So I think the Japanese are going to be happy to defend. So up to 6. 1d6 at this unit. And another 1. Crikey. That unit up to 8. Well, unless this card is a disaster for my Japanese force, and it certainly isn't, because now it means I can remove some of the casualties that I've got. 1d3 units. So how many? Just the 1. 1, 2, 3. It's the one nearest the building. Yes, it is. How many? 3. This unit goes from 6 to 3. And for this unit, I think it's going to call in the mortar on this unit here. So will be half effect. Then I've got 2 units firing at that unit. One from the by the bank, And then obviously this unit here. Unit currently on an 8 plus this. Oh, that's out. This unit is certainly removed. Mortar on here. 1d6 plus 2 divided by 2. Crikey, 6 again, so that would be 8, so that's 4, so this unit is up to 10. Down here, I've got 2 units firing again at this one. If I get 4 across 2d6, then I'm going to remove this unit too. And I do. Well, that's a disaster for the British. All I've rolled is terrible with the green dice and excellent with the blue dice. So the Japanese are very safe here. I'll see if we get a joker for the next turn, but I think this is definitely a Japanese victory. Do I find the joker? No, I don't. What do we get on this card? We get an 8. Ultimate, we get an ammunition shortage. And with how many units? With 1. Which one? It's going to be this one, so this unit can't fire. So all I can do really is fire here, so I'm going to fire at this unit in the open. 5, so that unit goes up to 8. Japanese card is a king, and has been the case all the way through this game. It's a rally, so it's to remove some of the hit points. How many? Just the one. Which one? 1, 2, 3 is the nearest one. Again, it's that one. Lose 1d. So 2. So that unit is down to 6. Mortar is called in again on this unit. So 1d6 plus 2. So he gets 4. So 2 is the impact. And I'm going to use both machine gun teams here to fire at the same target. So it's 2d6 and then halved. What have we got? So we've got 9, which is rolled up, which would be 5. So that unit is removed. And here, I'm going to fire at this unit. I'm going to give it cover. So that's it, 1d6, but half impact. 3. Okay. Really is looking like a Japanese victory. I'm going to go one more turn and see whether we do draw the joker. Is it here? No. British card. 9. And a 9 is demoralisation. A single unit at one side gets 1d6 hits. I think I'm going to call it. Yes, I'm going to call it and say it's a Japanese victory. I've got, 5 Japanese units left. I've got 1 British, and I've got 1 in this building, and potentially 1 that could come onto the battlefield. The chances, with only half a dozen turns left, 2 of getting to the prisoners is virtually nil. So I'm going to say that's a good hard fight from the Japanese, and they keep hold of the prisoners. So it just leaves me to say thanks very much for watching. I've really enjoyed playing the game. It's been quick and easy, and as the rules suggest, it's within 1 hour. So thanks very much for watching it through. Hope you've enjoyed it, and we'll see you again soon for another game from Wargaming World.